Breaking right now, new calls for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle to have their titles stripped, as well as Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson, as the Sussexes join an anti-AI celebrity campaign designed specifically to annoy Donald Trump's White House. Of course, this is something the duplicitous duo know nothing about, and I would argue that it's very bad timing as pressure grows on the UK Parliament, King Charles, and Prince William to take action on all the wayward royals. Now, I believe this latest intervention from Harry and Meghan is exactly why their titles and their right to be called a prince and duchess must just go. Look at this. Prince Harry and Meghan join call for a ban on development of AI superintelligence. What the hell do they know about that? As Nancy Sidley rightly pointed out, actually, what Meghan Markle is doing lately is being reduced to catering events for D-list celebrities just to be invited to parties. To our royal YouTube sensation P-Dina now. P-Dina, look, the royal family is dealing with a massive crisis. And the Houses of Parliament in the United Kingdom today, Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, has, for the first time, and he did so reluctantly, but back to call for some type of investigation into Prince Andrew regarding where he's living. So the idea that in this current climate, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle think this is a great idea for us to start lobbying against the White House position on artificial intelligence is insane. It's completely insane. Right now, all they should be doing is keeping their head down and saying nothing, because P-Dina, I would argue, don't just deal with Prince Andrew. You've got to do them all in one fell swoop.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think everything that Harry and Meghan try to do is they put their hands in so many different things. Meghan can't even decide on, what brand she has. She is so indecisive and so unclear about things in her own life. They should definitely keep their hands out of this, all the things that are going on now with Prince Andrew. And then, Harry and Meghan pulling all this in now. It's just making things more chaotic. They need to really just be quiet and focus on your family, your life, because it's already in a shambles, let alone trying to now put your hand in this AI superintelligence. It just shows how unclear and how unguided they are with everything. And it just makes chaos, I think, for the royal family now to have to deal with, to be quite honest.
And P-Dina, when you think of the fact that it feels almost inevitable that the Prince Andrew situation is not going to end at him just voluntarily walking away and saying, oh, I'm just not going to use my HRH. I'm not going to refer to myself as the Duke of York, because we know, don't we? We know from contemporaneous evidence in terms of Harry and Meghan that that's what they might say to get through the storm, but then they do continue to use the titles. I mean, Meghan has been commercializing the Duchess of Sussex title now for years, despite the fact she told the late Queen Elizabeth II she would never do that. And we also know she's using the HRH title in private correspondence too. So I don't have any trust when Andrew says, oh, don't worry, I'm not going to use these things, because one day he will want to. So even though it's very risky, right, for the court to start getting involved for the Parliament to start getting involved in this, Prince William's plan is that there could just be one letters patent, one bill, and it would deal with Andrew, it would deal with Beatrice and Eugenie, it would deal with Meghan and Harry, but also critically, P-Dina, it would deal with Archie and Lili too. And I know that King Charles, who, by the way, has arrived in Rome and is meeting the Pope tomorrow, and he wants all of the focus to be on that. And I obviously have deep sympathies for what he's going through in terms of his health. But what I am just going to be very clear on, P-Dina, is until that action is taken, the action your son wants is taken, your reign is going to be completely overshadowed. Because if it's not a new revelation about Prince Andrew, P-Dina, it's going to be new, appalling behavior from Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. And then what happens when Archie and Lili, who've never stepped foot as anything other than babies, start turning up on social media and making comments? They can't be in the line of succession. They can't be prince and princess at that point. So I just think William has got this right. And I think Charles is being very naive in terms of his handling of this. And I say that as someone who has sympathies for what he's going through. A very quick but personal message from me to you to let you know that the best way you can support Dan Wootton Outspoken is to subscribe to my Substack at www.outspoken.live. Substack is a free speech platform that protects me from big tech cancellation and lawfare. Paid annual or monthly subscribers get an extra hour of content with the Royal Uncancelled After Show available every weekday with no advertising whatsoever. You can also message me direct on there. That's www.outspoken.live.
Yeah, and I think he is in a position now where, he really should be focusing more, of course, on his health and allowing others William, to really make these kinds of decisions more streamlined to what the king would want, because he is not in a position, I believe, to even deal with this. I think it compromises his health even more because these kinds of decisions do affect your health. And you want to protect the future of the monarchy, and having such indecisive decisions and not really being in a position physically to make the hard decision just compromises the institution. And I just don't understand why you don't make that the priority when that is what your job is to do as the king. The country, the monarchy, the crown is going to be destabilized, I believe, by all these indecisive things that look like you've made a choice, but they're not really concrete choices that are, uh, very aligned with what needs to happen. It's comical. It's not even real. Like what? He's just now Prince Andrew instead. It it to me it compromises everything and it makes it a joke. And I just want William to really make the decisions that he needs to make. And I also think that part of the reason that the king is so indecisive is because he doesn't want to look like the bad guy when it does come to Harry and Meghan because of all the race things. I do think race plays an issue in it with Meghan
Yes.
because they don't want to look like they're taking something away from this black girl. Because trust me, in America, they will make it about race, even though we know it's not. They have to be very careful. So I think aligning the decisions around the crown or the titles with what happens to Eugenie, Beatrice, and Andrew Fergie, like make it a big pool of people that are going to have the same things happen to them.
Exactly. Because
You
then it's
know?
not just about your brother, and it's also not just about your black daughter-in-law or your mixed-race daughter-in-law. And,
Right.
and and the thing is, P-Dina, look, I do completely hear what you're saying, and I do understand what you mean, and I'm sure the woke mob would absolutely weaponize it. In saying that, I would argue that's really hard to do with King Charles. I mean, he literally walked this woman down the aisle. Do you know what I mean? When she
Yeah,
decided to leave her own father in Mexico.
but they would still, yeah, because for them, they only see race.
True.
Even if you point out things around, well, he walked her down the aisle, and they would say, well, he had to, or he did that to save face or whatever. They will come up with something, right? They will definitely make it about race. I mean, I don't think that
They will.
um
And this is where, though, I think there needs to be a sense of ruthlessness. And what's
yes.
little bit frustrating for me is that William is prepared to be ruthless, right? And he will be ruthless when he's king. So Charles, at this point, could play a bit of a strategic game here and sort of say, "Look, I'm focusing on my cancer treatment. My son is," and I'm not saying he would say this publicly, P-Dina, but it could be briefed. My
Mhm.
son is taking the lead because, of course, he's working on this project about what the future of the monarchy is going to look like. I
Mhm.
endorse what he's doing, but of course, I continue to love my son and my
Mhm.
brother. It would make
Yeah.
so much sense. It would honestly make so much sense. And as you say, if they're all in there as one big pool of people, then it is much harder to make this about race or make this about victimhood. But of course, we know this is one of the reasons why Harry was so desperate to be face to face with Charles, because he's emotionally blackmailing him. He's guilt tripping him because it is their absolute worst nightmare to lose the titles. And remember, Meghan has even said of Archie and Lily, it's their birthright. And it's like, well, it's only their birthright because of what George V did back in 1917, I think it was.
Right. Right.
And, the world is about to move on. And the fact that you think that you can raise your children in Montecito to be little Americans who don't even return to the United Kingdom because you think we're such an
Right.
unsafe hellhole, it's delusional. Of course they
It
shouldn't
is.
have titles.
They should not have titles. I mean, make the hard decisions. That's what you are there to do. I mean, I don't understand how you can be in such a high position and waver on like making the decisions that you're in the position to do. Like that's what you need to do. Megan, I'm telling you, this woman needs to be put in her place. And the fact that you now have this whole issue with Andrew, hey, it's kind of a blessing. Hey, let's all of them, let's make some decisions right now. This is the time to do it. I
100%.
mean, what happens if you wait?
100%. Use this as an opportunity because trust me, P-Dina, I'm here in London and I'm very tapped into what's going on at the moment. And
Mhm.
the drumbeat coming from Westminster and even coming from Buckingham Palace, P-Dina, is that
Mhm.
it's just going to be impossible for Charles to not take further action against Andrew. And so
Yeah.
do it all now. Do it all now. And look,
Yeah.
partly because Harry and Meghan are going to keep on embarrassing you and they're going to keep on embarrassing the country. And P-Dina, I've got to come to this artificial intelligence thing, right? Because they know what they're doing. They know what they're
Yeah.
doing. The background to this is that it's something that Trump doesn't really want to happen. He's with the tech giants. And so Harry and Meghan, and this is from the AP, so let me just take you through it because it's a little bit complicated, but Prince Harry and Meghan have joined prominent computer scientists, economists, artists, evangelical Christian leaders, and American conservative commentators Steve Bannon and Glenn Beck to call for a ban on AI superintelligence that threatens humanity. The letter released Wednesday by a politically and geographically diverse group of public figures is squarely aimed at tech giants like Google, OpenAI, and Meta platforms that are racing each other to build a form of artificial intelligence designed to surpass humans at many tasks. The letter calls for a ban unless some conditions are met. So this is a 30-word statement. We call for a prohibition on the development of superintelligence not lifted before there is broad scientific consensus that it will be done safely and controllably and strong public buy-in. In a preamble, the letter notes that AI tools may bring health and prosperity, but alongside those tools, many leading AI companies have the stated goal of building superintelligence in the coming decade that can outperform all humans. Now, Harry, though, P-Dina, wasn't just happy to leave it at that and sign his name. He added a personal note. Now, remember, Harry's the dunce, right? Harry shouldn't have passed any of his school exams if he hadn't a favourable treatment at Eton, okay? But he's decided to weigh in and say, the future of AI should serve humanity, not replace it. I believe the true test of progress will be not how fast we move, but how wisely we steer. There is no second chance. Now, the hilarious thing about this, P-Dina, is he signed this alongside people like AI pioneers Joshua Bendigo and Jeremy Hinton, co-winners of the Turing Award, which was the top prize for computer science. Hinton, who won a Nobel Prize last year. People who really know about these types of things. Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak, British billionaire Richard Branson. And my point, P-Dina, is butt out. You know nothing about this. This is all about your own war against the social media companies, which is all just designed to shut down people, P-Dina, like you and me. They just don't want us to comment on them, right? They do not want us to criticize them. And we've seen how much lawfare they're going to try and use in terms of silencing the British press. The way to silence people like us is to target big tech. So I don't believe for a single moment that Harry and Meghan know a thing about AI superintelligence. This is just a way to bash the big tech companies to try and achieve their censorship goal. But also, it's not the role for people who hold royal titles, for goodness sake. But first, this time of year, the air gets harsher, the heating's on, and skin takes a beating. Dryness, fine lines, that loss of bounce. So now I need to tell you about how I've been avoiding those issues through the incredible products of OneSkin, the world's first skin longevity company. It's led by an all-female team of PhDs in skin regeneration and tissue engineering, and their standout technology is the OS1 peptide. Instead of just masking dryness, OS1 is designed to work at the cellular level, targeting senescent cells, the troublemakers behind wrinkles and reduced elasticity, so skin can behave more like its younger self. By addressing aging at the source, OS1 helps support a stronger moisture barrier, improves the look of firmness and bounce, and smooths rough, tired-looking texture. The result is skin that looks and feels more resilient, better hydrated, and visibly healthier, supported from the source rather than just the surface. The range is simple but powerful. The best sellers: OS1 Face, a moisturizer and longevity serum, and OS1 Body for crepey, dry, or thinning skin, perfect when the seasons change, and OS1 Eye, their most concentrated formula for the delicate eye area. Every formula is dermatologist tested, safe for sensitive skin, NEA approved, backed by 5 published clinical studies, and trusted with over 10,000 5-star reviews. If you're ready to upgrade your routine for the colder months, start with Face and build from there. This season, don't just moisturize, support your skin at the cellular level with OneSkin. And for a limited time, you can try OneSkin with 15% off using code OUTSPOKEN at oneskin.co. That's 15% off at oneskin.co with the code OUTSPOKEN. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. And please support our show and tell them it was via Dan Wootton Outspoken. Try OneSkin today. But now, back to the show.
Absolutely. And this is part of the problem with Harry and Meghan still being attached on the website to the royal family. Like, they are emboldened because to the Americans, to these tech giants, they essentially have the backing of the royal family to, vouch for the voices of Harry and Meghan because they're still attached to the crown, right? So Harry and Meghan, putting their 2 cents into this is somewhat validated by that. I'm sorry to say it, but to me, that's what it feels like. And also, what Harry and Meghan have done in the past, and we've seen it, they attach themselves to whatever the current movement is. When we had the Black Lives Matter, they were doing things around Black Lives Matter. When we had COVID, they were trying to put their 2 cents in around COVID. And now this, because their self-interest, their whole existence relies on relevance. And so they want to be attached to anything that's about the relevance of the people, but really with self-serving interests. They're not thinking really about the people, nor should they. They have no people. They have no connection to us in terms of, what their decisions are and, how that affects the American or people in general. So why are they even being allowed to even tap into this like they have any relevance? And this is why I hate to go back to it, but the king, they need to do something about Harry and Meghan, because that's what they will continue to do, because they're about serving themselves and helping themselves make money, because they are about whatever the new thing is, they want to be a part of it and be relevant around it. And they have no experience. They have no knowledge. They can't even control their own lives, like I said, with Meghan and her brand. So why are they even putting out a statement? That shows you that they will take anything that they can in connection to the royal family to find relevance, because they want to put their noses in everything, even though they don't have the experience. They don't even have the background to be able to say anything around super intelligence. It just makes me so upset that nothing, absolutely nothing, has been done to curtail this couple, to like slow your roll, get in your lane. You have no need to be commenting about any of this stuff. The royal family should be outraged that there was even a statement put out by these 2 wackadoos. What are they doing? It's senseless.
It's interesting you mentioned the royal website, P-Dina, because there's quite a lot of outrage actually about this. Let me show you what the Office of Indie posted. This is disgraceful, and according to Taz added, they only removed the title of Duke but not the man. So these three are still on the working royals part of the website, as in they still look as though they represent the Crown, the UK, and the Commonwealth. Sorry, but this is an epic misstep. All of them need removing. And again, P-Dina, this just feels like weakness to me. Yes, it's an
Mm,
awkward conversation to have, but why are they on the website?
right. It like I said, that just emboldens them. They know nothing is going to happen. They're on the website. They're validated by being on that website. They're emboldened to make statements, to put out things to show that they still have relevance. They're connected still to the monarchy, even though what Meghan doesn't want to ever step foot again in the UK, right? Like your connection to the monarchy is null in existence. So why are you being made to appear like you do have relevance and that you have a voice behind the royal family when we know what the truth is in your connection to the monarchy? It's making, I think, the monarchy a mockery. It's make the bold decisions that were made by other royal families, right? That there wasn't there a queen that took away the titles of her grandchildren. Like you need to do that because the future of the monarchy is dependent on these tough decisions. It really is because they will make themselves relevant in America, and the people of America will take them to be relevant as long as nothing is done because they do have their supporters, right? Meghan is very tenacious. She's going to do any and everything she can to make her voice heard. As long as her voice isn't being stifled by those in the monarchy, she's going to run with it and do whatever she can. That should be very frightening to the monarchy.
Big time. And look, there is criticism that is coming towards King Charles over this. Canal Citadel, who I have a lot of respect for, speaking about the royal website situation on X, wrote, when people get tired of being taken for donkeys by King Charles, they will start opening their eyes and realizing there is no long game. All King Charles does is smoke and mirrors. He always says what people want to hear to avoid backlash, but never follows through in a substantial manner because he is simply not interested in fixing any issues when he can leave them to William to deal with. So truly what happened over the week is that Andrew relinquished the Duke of York title in exchange for him keeping all his royal privileges and luxurious lifestyles. Andrew gets to live in his 40-room mansion without any legal punishment. His punishment is that he now gets to be called simply Prince Andrew. Oh, the punishment. Please, may I be punished like this in life? Please, what a mockery. King Charles is making a mockery of the monarchy. So, can you understand that, P-Dina?
Absolutely. I mean, you have people saying it loud and clear what is it looks like. And I think more than ever with social media, the people are able to voice their opinions. Listen to them. I don't know who the people are that are around the king and, in, the royal family or I mean the institution, but you've got a great thing here with social media and people voicing their opinions. You're being given the green light. Hey, go do something now. If you're afraid of not having the people behind you, that's not the case here. The majority of people feel like this, and I don't understand why action hasn't been taken already. It just shows how cowardice they are. It really is not a good thing. It definitely gives me a second look at the institution. It's like what? You're not going to do anything? This is it's senseless. It's crazy. It just infuriates me. I just hope William, which I believe he will, make these hard decisions. You have to because the future depends on it.
P-Dina, Nananki Pretty, someone who comes up every now and then, very close friend in the past of Meghan Markle, including a teenage friend. Now, she has popped up on X, and you've been engaging with her actually because she posted after some criticism of accounts like the Royal Grift. According to some, I'm not me, which begs the question, who's been living my memories? You replied saying she is who she says she is. Now let's stop all the drama. So, P-Dina, can you explain this to me? Because I'm very confused. Is there now this idea that in some ways these pictures of Nananki, Pretty, and Meghan Markle, which include them posing outside Buckingham Palace. Is there a suggestion that those pictures were in some way fake?
Apparently so, and I don't understand why it's so hard to believe that this is real. And to go back, she grew up with Meghan since like they were, I think, 2 years old. This girl knew Meghan very well. Nanaki knew her very well. They grew up together. This story has been put into books with like Tom Bower. Like these are well-researched stories that they did go to the United Kingdom. There's claims that they never even went to the United Kingdom. And there's no fake photo from that time. I mean, yes, we have that now, but there's no way these are fake photos. I think what's happened, Dan, are people are suspicious of Nanaki because they think she might be covertly still working with Meghan to undermine, certain things. But Nanaki, we know, has revealed a lot of things that are very damaging to Meghan. Meghan is not in contact with Nanaki. I actually spoke face to face with Nanaki. I speak with her on social media. I know it's her 100%. So if you need validation that she is who she says she is, then believe what I'm saying to you, that she is who she says she is. And she is not trying to work with the Sussex squad and trying to do all these things secretly with Meghan. It's senseless. I think people are so caught up in what's happening with the Sussex squad and with Meghan that they think there's these undercover things happening now with her childhood friend. It is ridiculous. I have spoken with Nanaki and I've seen her talk with me. Okay. That is so ridiculous to me that they're making drama now out of all of this. Stay focused on the issues at hand and stop trying to make drama out of something that's not there. There's nothing there with her. She is who she says she is.
100%. And you know that I feel exactly the same when it comes to a lot of the very unfair criticism of the Markle family. People suggesting that the Markle family aren't telling the truth and that they're somehow in on this. It's very unfair. And I know obviously I'm good friends with Samantha and I know how upsetting those claims are to her, and she's a good woman. And it's like, no one is perfect. None of us are perfect, right? We're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to say things every now and then that people disagree with. But as you say, focus on the big mission. What happened to Nananki Pretty, I think, certainly opened up a window into the world of what Meghan Markle is really like. And I think we should thank her for being honest about that. But fascinating stuff. Fascinating stuff. P-Dina, do stand by, because we're going to move over to Substack now for the uncancelled after show. And it's not just Nananki Pretty who's been dumped, is it? Gay Daniel has been dumped by Meghan Markle. But P-Dina and I know the real reason behind this. We're going to discuss it all over on Substack now. www.outspoken.live is the address. I'd love you to become part of the Substack community because it is the home of free speech and it is the home of all of our content on Outspoken. If you sign up for a paid annual or monthly membership, you get first access to our Royal Uncancelled After Show every single weekday, so Monday to Friday, and you can watch it either live or on demand with no advertising whatsoever, which a lot of you love. So that address is www.outspoken.live. The best way to support Outspoken is to become part of our Substack community. I hope to see you there. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.